I have to ask you this next question. You may not be comfortable with it, but it is on this topic and you are Dutch. Given the fact that Geert Wilders was exonerated in the court case in the end, the judge said, of course, what you said was a bit stupid, you offended Muslims and all the rest of it, but you didn't actually break the law. Having said that, do you think he should have been charged in the first place?
No, I think there's a lot to be said for near unlimited freedom of speech like they have in the United States. And I think it was, okay, we have a law, so somebody went to court, but these things should not be settled in court. They should be settled in, public debate, in political debate, and not in court. Yeah. And I think that was very unfortunate, and it simply gave him an additional podium to.
Well, I'm not advocating his agenda or anything. It's just on the legal point.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that. But it is on the rise. He is popular in the Netherlands, and you have this whole thing going on. I always echo to people. I'm not a big fan of Islam in general, but I'll tell you this. I take the counsel of Miriam Namazi, who's an Iranian activist in Britain. As she said at the Atheist Conference in Dublin, that we should be careful to make the difference between Islam and Islamists, or Muslims, Islamists, and all of that. Fine. There's been so many tragic things in the Netherlands, particularly though. A woman I love very much, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, in her case, she's still under death threat. With Theo and Pim and all of those people. I know it's just individuals, but this is going back to what I was saying, Sophie. It's a small minority, but they killed us in Madrid. They killed us in New York. They killed us. I was living in Madrid when the bombs happened there.
But sorry, there are Catholics who've killed people. There are atheists who've killed people. There are Protestants who've killed people, and religion very often serves as a pretext for. I actually think statistically, gender is much more significant an indicator of crime and terrorism and violence than religion is. It's 99% men.
Yeah, but you do concede that even the hardcore want to disassemble everything that this place represents, both in Britain and very outspoken about it. I would. I mean, I don't think that the Mormons are not doing that. Jehovah's Witnesses are not doing that. Even the crazy Scientologists are not doing that. The Amish don't come from Pennsylvania to disassemble.
No, I think they have maybe non-violent ways of destroying people's lives.
Yeah. Do you think we should have a conversation honestly about it?
There are many different, but I cannot tell people what to believe inside their heads. I can tell them how they should behave. I can tell them where the limits are to their freedom. I cannot and will not tell them what they should believe. And to say that there is a direct link between Islam and terrorism is nonsense, just as there is no direct link between being a Catholic or a Protestant and being in the IRA or on the other side. You simply cannot say that. Because
I let my viewers decide.
There are many people, because, all this thing about terrorism as well, there is, many times more people die in domestic violence than they do in terrorism. I mean, there in my country alone, there are about 50 or 60 children who die as a result of domestic violence each year.
Yes, that's clever, Sophie, but I'll tell you, okay,
it's true. It's not clever, it's true.
But but they're not. The domestic violence is not caused by an insane ideology from a book.
That's what you say. That's what you say. If there is, for example, and that's why I'm saying, there are many more ways in which, for example, very traditional conservative views, which are often, not always, but often inspired by religious notions. If they tell people that men are superior to women and they can do to women whatever they like, think of the extreme, of course, is honor killings. But there are lots of Western women with a Christian background who are suffering at the hands of their husbands.
Yeah, sure.
I think this link between saying religion is the cause of terrorism, that's plain nonsense. Yeah. And I don't think it is very helpful, because what the things we want to solve in our daily lives are, religion restricting the rights, not accepting, not respecting the rights of others, women, because the biggest clash between let's say religion and fundamental rights is, or religion and policies, public policies, is in the area of fundamental rights, and mainly things to do with sexuality, family, and procreation. It rarely ever has anything to do with transports or infrastructure or other policies. It's those areas, and I think terrorism. we're talking about a handful of people worldwide. Let's be honest. And there have been many terrorists. Think of the Brigate Rosse. Think of November 17th in Greece. Think of the ETA. Think of the RAF in Germany. Think of. I mean, there's so many terrorists who've got nothing to do with religion, so I don't think you can make that link.
I have a little pin here, humanist, very innocent, yeah. Why don't you wear something like that to show people what you're about? I mean, you see
I'll tell you, I have a pin, but I'm changing jackets the whole time, and in particular in a leather jacket, I don't want to.
No, but it's good, I do this, I invite people to say to me, Randall, what does that mean? It's an educational thing. The scarlet letter is a bit loud, I confess. But
but I have a different podium. I have a different platform for making my message heard, and I use that. Sometimes I wear a pin. It's not a deliberate choice.
I'm not taking away from your achievements like that. I know what you've done in humanism. I wish there were more people like you. Thank you so much for talking to us today. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's it, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed that. Comments are welcome, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Very good.
Yes, thank you, Chair. First of all, I would like to thank Baroness Ashton for her introduction, and both my colleagues, Mrs. Kolarska and Michael Cashman, for their words, and I wholeheartedly subscribe to what has been said before. I have to say, one of the last words that Michael Cashman just said, that this is a preventable disease. In conclusion, Chair, I would urge all members of all groups across this House to endorse the resolution tomorrow. Thank you.